Hello again. I hope everyone is enjoying themselves during this less than ideal time and what's turned out to be a pretty rainy day. I wanted to start out by introducing someone. This is Skillet. Can you say hi? Probably not. He's not really into cooperating with this. But I got a comment after the last video that I should take some time to introduce him in one of my videos. I know a lot of people know him by now, or at least know of him. He's my new dog, and he's been a great little companion here. So, right? Yeah. That's about all the cooperation we're going to get out of him for something like this. I wanted to say that I'm really enjoying being able to connect with people in this way and see all the comments and hear what people think about this, and also to just hear what people are experiencing and how people are being impacted by everything that's happening. It's easy for me to lose sight of the ways in which people's lives are being negatively impacted by everything that we're seeing happen right now. For me, I'm an introvert, so if somebody tells me that I need to stay home and spend more time with my dog, it's not such a bad thing. But I do realize that there are other people having a very different experience. I wonder if anyone can see a pattern yet in how I'm approaching this. I'm trying to maintain a positive outlook in everything that I do. Yes, there are definitely things that are scaring me about what's happening right now. I don't like the things that I'm seeing in the news. However, being negative and giving into fear are not going to solve anything. And that brings me to the first thing that I want to talk about in this video. Many of us respond to a crisis like this by trying to be strong for those around us. And that's a good thing. That is what we should be doing. We all have families that we care about. We have people who will look to us in times of uncertainty. And it's important that we can provide a strong and a confident outlook. The problem that often comes from this is that as we try to be strong for those around us, we forget to do what is most important. We neglect to take care of ourselves. Now, some will ask if this is really that serious, if we're doing good work. And I say yes, it really is. Others will ask, why is this a problem? Aren't we supposed to put the needs of others ahead of our own needs? I mean, that's what being Christian is all about, right? Yes, it is. And that's what we should be doing. But we still have to take care of ourselves. It will do no one any good if we can't take care of ourselves. For anyone who has other people that depend on them, how will those people be served if that person has a breakdown during a crisis? When I was studying and later teaching in fire and EMS, every lesson that we did, no matter what the lesson was, began with a reminder about personal safety. Before doing anything, we're always reminded that we have to make sure the scene where we're working is safe and we are taking appropriate precautions. This was probably emphasized more than anything else that we did. And there's a reason for that. In an emergency situation, safety is often counterintuitive. It's very easy to get caught up in rushing to the aid of another person that's all we want to do. And we can end up doing things that we shouldn't. We can end up taking risks that we shouldn't. We're so caught up in wanting to help someone that we're forgetting we need to take care of ourselves first. So what do I mean by taking care of ourselves? Well, in a situation like we're facing right now, there are a few simple things that we can do to take care of ourselves. The first, and some of these are very obvious, we should be getting plenty of sleep. Getting enough sleep every day can have such a tremendous effect not only on our physical health, but on our mental health as well. And that's what's going to help us get through a situation like this. Eat healthy, always a good thing. Okay, so we're sitting at home all day in quarantine. Doesn't mean we have to be sitting home all day eating junk food. That will really wear down our health over time. Get some exercise, get out and do something. Social distancing doesn't mean that we can't go outside and take a walk or just get outside and do something healthy, get a little exercise. Engage in healthy activities. And what do I mean by that? For people who are staying home right now, many people have hobbies. Many people have things that they like to do that we can continue to do. We can still get outside and do things safely. There are plenty of activities that we can do inside. For people who are still working, we should be reminded not to be so caught up in work that we're not doing anything else, that we're not taking breaks, that we're not taking time just to look after our physical and mental health. Take some time to read. Reading is such a great activity that can do so much to keep our minds engaged and keep us healthy. And of course, prayer. Prayer is something that always needs to be a part of our daily routine. When we get into high stress, crisis situations, prayer is often one of the first things that gets set aside. But of course, that's the thing that we need the most in a time like this. Stay informed with what's going on around us, but don't overdo it. And I am going to talk more about that. Of course, don't panic. Don't focus simply on the negative things that we're hearing. Be careful about media coverage. Now, I already mentioned in last week's homily that we need to be careful about misinformation. I read a social media post yesterday saying that the federal government was preparing to quarantine everyone and shut down all grocery stores and retail outlets, and that everyone should go out right now and buy everything they need for the next month. This is not only false, but it's irresponsible and could do a lot of harm. The other reason I say be careful about media coverage applies to legitimate and accurate stories. Sometimes during a crisis, it's very easy to believe that we have to keep the TV on all the time so that we will always be up to date on what's happening. We don't. The recommendation that I've already given is one that still stands. Get info primarily from the CDC, the Virginia Department of Health, and the Tennessee Department of Health. Read the paper, watch the evening news. If you hear about an important event happening like a press conference, watch it or listen to it, and then go do something else. There are examples of how media coverage can have adverse effects on us. And this data, by the way, comes from the CDC. On September 11th, 2001, adults watched an average of 8.1 hours of news coverage, and children watched an average of 3 hours. Multiple studies have shown that watching the TV coverage, along with the graphic content associated with these attacks, was related to increased cases of PTSD and clinical depression. Now, this is not me politicizing. This is not about Fox versus CNN versus MSNBC or any of that. It has nothing to do with that. The media's job is to keep us informed, but it is also to get our attention. They work hard to make their stories interesting and make them seem important enough that we will feel like we have to keep watching, we have to keep tuned in. That's what they're supposed to do. I've had people tell me, I get so angry when I watch the news, I just don't know what to do. Turn off the TV and go do something else. Read a book, play a video game, play a game with your family. Do something completely mindless. Do anything but pay attention to something that's going to provoke a negative response. As we take care of ourselves, we also have to remind those around us to do the same. Encourage people to be doing good things for themselves, and keep in touch with people, even when we can't gather. I never spent much time using things like FaceTime or messaging apps that allow video chat. I didn't have a lot of use for that. Then my brother moved to Japan, and I learned fast just how great these things can be, because now I still have the opportunity to chat face-to-face with my brother. He can show me the sunset views from his rooftop patio. I can see and hear my niece telling me all of the Japanese that she's learning in school. Just remember that social distancing does not have to mean social isolation. And now let me end on just a little bit more of a positive note. I will continue posting more resources for prayer as I find them, things that will help keep us spiritually energized. One thing that I have always loved is Magnificat, For anyone who's not familiar, Magnificat is a monthly publication. It includes morning and evening prayer for each day. It includes the Mass readings as well as the Mass prayers for each day and a daily reflection. Because of the current crisis, Magnificat is now offering free access to the online version of their publication, as well as free access for their apps on both iOS and Android. I'm going to put a link to this in the description for this video so anyone who wants to take advantage of that can do so. Big thanks to Magnificat for doing that. It's a good thing. And as a reminder, Sunday Mass at St. Anne's will be on this channel by Sunday morning, probably up Saturday night sometime. We may not be able to gather together, but we can still pray together. So God bless and enjoy the weekend.